Hey guys, it's Patrick. It's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays we talk about long hair. I am going to discuss a subject that people keep asking me about, even though I don't know why they think I would know too much about it, although I am pretty good at looking stuff up. So I guess I will talk about something that I was able to do a couple of days of research on, and I do want to start this by telling people, as I always do whenever I talk about stuff that I've just looked up, that I am just, like you, a layperson. I'm not a scientist. I am not a hair professional. I'm not anybody except someone who's able to use some research skills to dig through a whole bunch of the noise that you get to when you're talking about hair care, from the things that people are trying to sell you and the sort of myths that get around online, from what could be considered actual studies in the science of hair care. Lately, I don't know why, I've been getting a whole lot of questions about things like inversion method, especially inversion method. I've been getting a lot of questions about that lately, and I don't know if there have been articles or something that have just come out that guys have seen, or if there's just a new crop of guys who are trying to grow hair for the first time and they're getting a little bit discouraged by how quickly their hair is growing and want to grow hair faster, which, you know, when you're starting to grow hair, who doesn't? So couple of things that I do want to cover. One thing is that I try to always talk about things that are actually studied in, say, medical journals or scientific journals, things that have they have, you know, you can look up the PDF where you can see what the study method was, by reputable organizations. I'm talking about the National Institutes of Health. The two studies that I'm going to talk about today were from the National Institutes of Health, I believe in 2001, and then Massachusetts General Hospital later on in the 2000s, but they're fairly recent studies about blood flow and hair growth. And both have shown that increased blood flow can increase the speed with which you grow hair and the volume of the hair that grows, which is fantastic news for guys or anybody who's looking to grow their hair. However, the methodology that they used to increase blood flow is not the sort of methodology that that guys have been asking me about. I have found absolutely nothing that says that an inversion method has any measurable effect on hair growth, either in terms of how rapidly your hair grows or how much hair grows. Nor have I seen anything about if scalp massage actually has a measurable effect on hair growth and on hair volume. Now, if there are studies, if there are actual scientific studies that say that please put them in the comments below, because I would like to see that, because it sounds like it could happen. I just haven't seen anything that says X amount of hair massage, X amount of inversion, you know, tipping yourself upside down, or combination thereof, would increase hair growth. But it does sound like this type of thing would actually be of some help. The things that I've seen, and also I do want to say that these studies have been in things like male pattern baldness and alopecia, which are medical conditions that cause you to have less hair or no hair. And the science behind it is that when you lose hair due to these conditions, it is not due to dead follicles. It's not due to your follicles being unable to produce hair because they're dead. It's because your hair follicles, or the hair follicles in the study patient participants, have grown smaller. They basically have atrophied and grown so small that they cannot produce hair that has any viability to it. And what blood flow does to hair is it increases that diameter of your follicles, and when it does that, hair can then grow. and you can have more length and more volume to the hair, especially thickness. It seems that hair thickness really helps. And the one study that I did read from Massachusetts General Hospital was about peppermint oil. They were looking for safer alternatives to topical treatments that would grow hair, and they said that peppermint oil, when administered in such a way, and I'm not going to go into that. If you want to look up that study, you could. They did this in mice. They administered peppermint oil daily to mice in a certain amount, and it showed that rather than 50% of the control mice were able to grow X amount of hair, 95% were able to grow this much more. So it was a significant percentage that had more hair growth. The other study that I read from National Institute of Health was that there was a protein that was administered like a medication, which the protein increased blood flow, which led to the follicles getting larger, which led to more hair being grown. All that being said, is that a guarantee that if you started putting peppermint oil on your head that you would grow hair faster, that you would grow hair longer? I'm not entirely sure. I think that, it's probably a good bet that you would have some measurable results from the ways in which these studies have increased blood flow. Now, obviously, the medication that was given, the protein, I don't believe is anything that is available, or if it is, it's probably in some sort of prescribable medication, because usually studies in medicines or this type of thing are not for profit. You're not going to be able to go to your GNC and get this particular protein because, a study in this amount that probably cost a lot of money is probably going to result in a medication that costs a lot of money. Peppermint oil is free. So, if you wanted to give that a shot, I'm not advocating it because, again, I'm not a medical professional. I don't know what it would do to you. You could have an allergy. It could not be good for you in other ways. But, that type of hair help would maybe help. This type of application might help as well. Both studies did say that, barbers who recommended a scalp massage were giving good advice because that increased blood flow to the hair. However, I did see a number of studies that showed that there have not been any measurable studies that have shown that inversion method therapy actually works. Just a little bit of still looking up what people have asked me. I would say that, if you are trying to get that little boost in hair growth, you may want to explore hair massage. Feels good anyway, you just massage your scalp and you do it vigorously for X amount of minutes per day. You might get a little bit more hair growth. However, remember that hair growth is a very long process. Even if you increased your hair growth by 50%, that means that in order to get what we all consider long hair, it would still take probably a year to a year and a half to get from short hair to, say, shoulder length hair. So, and you would probably have to commit to doing this not just regularly, but, pretty much every day for quite a long time in order to significantly increase the blood flow to your hair. So again, you want to take that with your own caveats about what actually works and how much it works. And do remember that these studies were done for not just cosmetic reasons, but for folks with medical conditions. Male pattern baldness is actually something that's caused by your body's chemistry and by aging and all of that. Alopecia is actually a disease that causes hair to fall out for various reasons. So it's not just for, I want my hair to grow a little bit faster and a little bit longer in a short amount of time, and I want thicker, fuller hair. Pretty much the time-tested ways of growing hair are to have a good diet, have decent genetics. If you come from a family that has gone bald young and you're going bald young, probably not too much you can do about it. Get a lot of sleep, drink a lot of water, take good care of your hair, don't rip it out of your scalp, that sort of thing. So anyway, just wanted to keep y'all updated on what people have been asking me and what I've been able to find. So I hope this has been of help to anybody who has asked, and to anybody I've commented to that where I've said, you know, I haven't really looked it up. Well, now I've looked it up, and that's pretty much what we're talking about. Anyway, I will be back here next Tuesday to talk about hair yet again, because that's what I do on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, we will be back to making a 3-ingredient recipe, and on weekends, George is here to talk about being good to yourself. Also planning out a couple different things. I'm thinking about doing a little bit of just adding in some more vlog content. Theater has calmed way down. I have a show that's just opened, which is great. Gives me some more free time. Do some more stuff, just, you know, off the cuff kind of stuff, and planning out maybe some more scripted stuff, but that'll be in the future. If you're just here for hair stuff, great. We'll see you back again next Tuesday. And until then, have a great week.